So many of you have been in contact with me to ask why the EU is not doing more to help refugees, and I think we're all equally ashamed of the way our own government has stood idly by during the greatest migration crisis for decades. Today we had an opportunity in the European Parliament to give refugees safe passage to a place of safety in Europe through supporting our proposal for humanitarian visas. This would allow those seeking international protection to travel to safety without risking their lives crossing the Mediterranean or facing the trauma of a difficult journey when fleeing war or persecution. Greens have consistently called for the establishment of safe and legal pathways for those seeking humanitarian protection. But sadly, those on the right, including many Tory MEPs, failed to back our report. Thousands of migrants still die attempting to reach Europe because they have no legal way of travelling here and are forced to put their lives at risk in their search for safety. More than 2,000 people have lost their lives attempting to cross the Mediterranean just this year. Europe is failing to protect these most vulnerable people. So the introduction of humanitarian visas is long overdue. 90% of those who have been granted international protection in the EU in recent years arrived via irregular means. It is vital that Europe establishes a legal mechanism for migrants to enter Europe without having to resort to taking deadly risks. The UK's record on helping migrants in desperate need is inadequate at best and downright cruel at worst. Only 20 unaccompanied children have come to the UK in the past 2 years. Thankfully, many NGOs have done invaluable work to support migrants when governments have failed to provide adequate assistance or refused to provide any assistance at all. And in my constituency in South West England, we have a proud tradition of stepping in where our government has failed to do so. Aidbox Community is just one Bristol-based humanitarian organisation that I have visited, set up by a group of ordinary people in response to the continuing refugee crisis and offering frontline services. And there's also wonderful work being done by Bristol City of Sanctuary, Gareth in Gloucester and the Harbour Project in Swindon. While our politicians refuse to help, it is down to grassroots groups in Bristol and across the country to offer a compassionate response to those seeking protection from persecution. But as Greens, we must and we will continue to fight for a fairer and more humane asylum system.